They called it the gateway to the stars. But what began as a spiritual quest ended in tragedy at the hands of belief and obedience. This is the story of Heaven's Gate, the cult that aimed for the heavens and fell to earth. Welcome to Dark Files, where we uncover the truth that hides behind the world's darkest minds. Don't forget to subscribe, because what you're about to hear isn't just a story. It's a warning. Heaven's Gate was founded in the early 1970s by Marshall Applewhite and Bonnie Nettles. Both were searching for a higher purpose, a spiritual truth beyond the confines of everyday life. Applewhite had studied theology and music. Nettles had a background in nursing. Together, they believed they were chosen to lead others to a higher plane of existence, a place beyond Earth, beyond human limitations. The world outside seemed shallow and materialistic. They called themselves the Two, and their followers would eventually call them Heavenly Parents. From the beginning, their teachings blended science fiction, Christian apocalyptic imagery, and New Age spirituality. They promised that their followers could leave behind their earthly bodies and join a new existence in the stars. Applewhite and Nettles were charismatic and persuasive. They claimed that human bodies were mere vessels, temporary shells for immortal souls. To ascend to the next level, followers had to renounce family ties, friendships, careers, and all attachments to material life. They lived communally, wearing matching clothing, practicing strict discipline, and following daily routines designed to detach them from worldly desires. Technology, possessions, and even personal relationships were sacrificed for the promise of space-bound salvation. Members were completely devoted. They followed instructions without question, believing the path to the stars required absolute obedience. Applewhite warned that those who left or doubted would be left behind, trapped in a limited human existence. Fear and devotion intertwined to create a tightly controlled, isolated community. By the 1990s, Heaven's Gate had grown small but intensely devoted. They moved to a large house in Rancho Santa Fe, California, where Applewhite and Nettles' teachings reached their most extreme form. Followers adhered to strict diets, wore identical black clothing with armbands, and cut ties with the outside world completely. Applewhite introduced the idea that the arrival of a comet called Hale-Bopp would signal the time for their souls to ascend. The earthly bodies, he said, had to be left behind, discarded, in order to board a spacecraft that accompanied the comet. Every detail of life was regulated: sleep schedules, work, personal hygiene, and even individual thoughts were monitored. Members believed this was the final opportunity to leave Earth and join the next level of existence. It wasn't just belief. It was a mission, a responsibility that required complete surrender. In March 1997, as Hale-Bopp approached, Heaven's Gate prepared for their ultimate ascension. In a coordinated ritual, 39 members, including Applewhite, took their lives in a carefully orchestrated mass suicide. They wore identical black clothing, Nike sneakers, and armbands, and lay in neat rows inside the house. Each person ingested a lethal mixture of phenobarbital and vodka, followed by a plastic bag over their head. The goal, according to Applewhite, was to release their souls to the spacecraft trailing the comet. In their minds, this was not death. It was transcendence, liberation from the earthly shell. The media captured the shocking story worldwide, headlines screaming about the cults that walked into the sky. Authorities were stunned. Neighbors recalled the eerie calm and meticulous order of the group. Letters and recordings left behind revealed Applewhite's unwavering conviction and the complete devotion of his followers. The deaths of Heaven's Gate members shook the world. It sparked debates about religious freedom, mental health, and cult influence in modern society. Scholars analyzed how isolation, charisma, and apocalyptic beliefs could drive people to such extremes. Pop culture absorbed the tragedy. Documentaries like Heaven's Gate, The Cult of the Ascension explored the story in depth. Books chronicled Applewhite's life, his teachings, and the psychological dynamics of the group. Musicians referenced Heaven's Gate as a cautionary tale, highlighting devotion, manipulation, and the dangers of blind faith. The incident became a symbol of the late 20th century fascination with cults, space-age spirituality, and apocalyptic obsession. It continues to be cited in discussions about social influence, extremism, and the vulnerability of those seeking meaning in a confusing world. This was Heaven's Gate, the cults that walked into the sky. And remember, not all journeys to the stars end in wonder. Some end in tragedy. Thank you for watching Dark Files. If the shadows of history fascinate you, like, share, and subscribe. Because every week, we uncover another truth hidden in the dark.